What's up, guys? Today I'm going to be making another video about saying sub to Mr. Beast 100 times. So here we go. Sub to Mr. Beast, 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 sub to Mr. Beast. Sub to Mr. Beast, 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 sub to Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, sub to 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 Mr. Beast. And sub to Mr. Beast, 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 sub to Mr. Beast. Sub to Mr. Beast, 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 sub to sub to Mr. Beast, sub to Mr. Beast, sub to Mr. Beast, sub to Mr. Beast. Sub to Mr. Beast, 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 sub to Mr. Beast. Sub to Mr. Beast, 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 sub to Mr. Beast. I don't know, I wasn't counting the last 20, so I think that's 100, but go buy merch at shopmrbeast.com.